I'm the only male growing up in the house. I'm the youngest. I wanted a dad so bad. Anytime I wasn't being beat was a plus for me. So he stole a TV. He stole a TV. You know, something to play Atari on. Like, it wasn't like a bad thing to me. Well, I was scared anytime he was around. My probably most fearful moment was I was at Anjanet's house and he was up there. And he said something like about me being dirty. I didn't have socks on. And he was like, you know, talking to his siblings about me and was basically like, you know, something about me being dirty. So I go home, I tell Mommy. And I don't know, Mom, if she was a glutton for punishment or what it was, but she called him and she yelling, get a job and get some money. She going in on him. And I'm like, one, how he perceives me is gonna be like you ratted on me. And he came right to the house. And I was hiding under the bed.
But he was sick at that time.
In the back room. I don't know if he was sick, Mom.
Yeah, he tried to pick the dumbbell up.
He did pick the dumbbell up, though.
He did?
I can tell you this.
What
the dumbbell was 10.5 pounds or it was 7.5. And Mommy is fussing back and forth with him. And he's trying to leave, and every time she says something back. And he picked up the dumbbell, and he did like this, the weight in her face. And I look up, and she had the nerve to sit up and say, what you gonna do it? And I'm like, he done did it before. Like, why are you not afraid of that?
Wow.
Right?
Egging him on.
He was
and
sick.
I'm like, what you know? And I'm like, wow.
Oh, he was sick at that point.
I don't know if he was sick, but I know I was like scared. I think once he passed away, it was like a burden had been lifted. But now for me, as the only boy, I'm searching for guidance and some type of male. Because again, at the same time where you guys are all very strong women, I needed that. And now I'm in the neighborhood and I'm looking at the older guys, right? But they were younger themselves. So they would stay punching on me and I guess trying to make me tough. And that's what it really become. Like, you know, no crying, all of those things. Mommy not knowing necessarily how to raise a boy, she brought me like 6 or 7 mouthpieces, 2 pair of boxing gloves. And how people walk around with basketballs and footballs, I walked around with gloves. And I would box whomever, you know, win, lose, or draw. And that was kind of my thing. I took gloves everywhere I went. And it was the idea of, hey, listen, you better not come back here crying. That's kind of what was taught. And all of you dated men who were similar to their father. And again, you can take some things from them in the positive, but nobody was pumping education or nothing really positive in that sense.
You don't see no cool dudes making no apps or building no companies. It's usually the dudes that somebody would consider to be nerdy or something like that, you know, computer programmers and, you know, all these other type guys. So that's what I realized. Like, all these guys that are different than me, I want to talk to them. I want to be their ears up.
I'm raising my children in a suburban neighborhood in a predominantly white school district because in my heart, that's how I believed I was going to be successful. That might not even be how they're going to be successful, but that's just how I lined it up for them because I feel like that was my way out. But I used to have conversations with a friend of mine working overnight years at Devereaux, and he was saying, bro, by the time our kids get to go to college, they're not even gonna have to go to college to be successful. They're gonna figure out something else, and college is not gonna be what it is.
If you're gonna invest in something that you already know. You know houses. So why don't we just get an apartment building?
Me and Beloga, we dialogue. Mac then gave me 10 books, we dialogue. But collectively as a team, we've never been able to, you know.
I guess nobody has ever got everybody together and decide where to start.
So y'all ain't really talking.
Making money.
So what's y'all perspective? What's y'all thoughts?
Like, for me, like, y'all think like the outcome is not worth it?
Oh,
that's the reason. Like, y'all ain't said like y'all ain't got time to do it. Is it because like life is the outcome is not gonna be there?
No, the outcome is there. We don't have, nobody is really willing to take that gamble. Here's the thing, because mind you, there's a lot of things that coming back there if you just stopping what you're doing to take this gamble. You got your kids, you got your wife, your wives. That's the main part. Your wives and your girlfriend. Are they going to be on board? And that's the gamble right there. His was. Someone right, like, ho, bro. You know, we're not going to do that. You're not going to take this salary and just chalk it just for a dream.
Like, say, for instance, I was trying to put him on a hustle for cutting grass, but he didn't understand how much money these old heads was making cutting grass, and I had to break it down for him. You know what I mean? Like, that's a serious hustle. Like, soon, I know dudes, they own 10, 15 houses, and soon the weather break, they load up they joints and go out and go from Delaware all the way up to, Pennsylvania somewhere. So, it's like...
Talking about 7, 8, 9 years old, right? Street guys was kind of glorified in my neighborhood. They were really well respected. And I remember for a small stint, nothing crazy, and I don't even know if I've ever shared this, right? But they this person might have me go run drugs over here. Over here. Nothing crazy though, like a back in it,
We
right?
had no idea.
Yeah.
You know we would have been on that.
Listen.
Right.
But again, I'm trying to emulate some of what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure my
out,
way.
find your way.
I'm trying to figure my way. So, what's the harm in running this here? What's the harm in that? Right?
Who had you doing that? Which boyfriend?
Why you want me to snitch? I can't. I don't know.
Let him finish.
And so again, I'm trying to find my way. And mommy would say her piece and then call it a day. It was like, I remember saying like, if you smoke cigarettes, you go to heroin. And it's like, what? Wait a second.
Not cigarettes, maybe marijuana, maybe.
You smoke marijuana, you go chew heroin. And so it's like, okay, till this day, I've never smoked marijuana because in my mind, I know I have addictive personality and I know who I am. Like, I know anything I do, I want to try to really be the best at it. So I'm probably not,
Gonna be the best getting high person.
So again, being around my friends down there, being exposed to getting high, I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want to shoot heroin. Right, but I mean, that's kind of the joke. And so I was always strong in my position. You can't make me do anything I don't want to do. I come home with this book bag, right? And there's like a sawed-off shotgun in it. Right? And mommy finds it in the laundry. And so I leave, I come back, and she's like, what's this? And I'm like, oh, me and my friends, we found this gun, and, I'm just holding it here. And so she said, okay, so let me get this straight. It's not yours, but they got you to hold the book bag. So who's going to jail? And I'm like, oh, I guess I am. And she was like, basically, don't be the pawn. Don't be the fool. Right? And she gave me a lecture, but she didn't beat me. And I'm like, I'm hot, I'm thirsty, going to get some water. And so she was like, okay. So she goes and like, I'll get you the water. Yeah, really nice. I'm like, I'm surprised I'm not getting beat, but this is good. And she brings 2 glasses. And she brings like a dirty glass of water and a clean glass. And she was like, which glass do you want? And I was like, I'm going with the clean water. And she was like, well, no, I'm trying to get you the clean water because I'm taking you to do positive things. I'm introducing you to doing, just being a good person. Work hard, be respectful, all these good things. But you keep gravitating to the street. And you want to be out, you want to get, bringing guns in the house, you're fighting, you're doing this stuff. And it was like, wow, that was a neat way for her to break it down to me to make me understand. I'm like, well, that's not what I want.
Right.
And just because I live in a certain place don't mean I have to succumb to that. And so I think that was helpful for me. But at the same time, you live into a neighborhood, you do as in Rome, right? And so now we're still fighting rival, gangs and things like that. So now fast forward, I'm about 17. I think it was a defining moment for me where I'm like, well, I'm not going to fight. And my friend was like, well, what do you mean? We had moved to 33 with you. And I'm like, I'm not going. And they're like, well, what you mean? And I'm like, I don't even know why we fight. We've been fighting since the 4th grade. I'm not going. And a couple of them is kind of cool. I started hanging out with them. And I remember having like a basement full because 33 Whittier, like I almost had like my own apartment. I had a room and it was really nice, right? And I remember I had a couple of friends from Parkside in there. And I remember people from the Grove came to like, oh, you gotta send them outside. And I'm like, well, no, I can't do that. If I'm with them, I'm with them. I can always self-reflect and say, what could I have done better or different to be the best me I can be? I try to pride myself on manhood. Like, manhood is really important for me.
What is that?
So I'm glad you asked, right? So I'm still figuring those things out because I knew 18 wasn't being a man, right? And then, certain things like being a provider or knowing how to handle adversity. So I didn't become a father until 38 years old, and then right before that, becoming a husband. And so I always said I wasn't a man until I was able to take care of family, right? Or take care of my wife. So if she comes and say, the hot water heater or the roof is gone, am I looking at her, she looking back at me and I'm asking her what we go do? Or am I going to say, I'll figure it out? And so that's another thing. Like, it's times where growing up, we didn't have lights or we didn't have running hot water. And so I work for that. Like, I don't ever want my wife or children to say, hey, I don't have the basics. I'm not even talking about the newest shoes because I can care less, or the newest clothes. Those things don't bother me. But if I can't say I can provide a hot meal, or I can't, remember we used to heat our clothes up when we turned all the burners on and put the hanger to dry our clothes, and having to wash them out by hand, in the sink. I mean, I think that, for me, that was humbling. You take him downstairs? How's the birthday boy doing? Okay. So we go get our birthday present out the, where's your car at?
Down the street.
Okay.
It's just not striking it.
You just dry it out.
Be careful because you don't want like the plastic thing, you don't want it to spark there. Everybody come back on Monday.
There you go. Listen, we just gonna say till Monday.
Like, I value every woman in this room, a lot. And so I may listen to what you've gone through, your struggles. And so I'm listening to try to be the best man I can be. So I think that's really paramount for me and how I move. But so I really try to live my life like being the best person I can be. And I'm really conscious that I want to break the cycle, right? And make sure my son sees me treating women right. Because again, I haven't always done the right thing, but again, I want him always to see that, hey, I'm respecting your mom, I'm loving her, even if she's running her mouth. It takes a lot of humility to stay silent, but I know he's watching me.
Yes.
And so it's important that, hey, you speak to her like this, you address her like this. And again, my daughter, Sora, my baby girl, Sora, she's watching me as well. And even the older girls are watching me. And so, just living my life a certain kind of way.
Make sure to tune in next week for Lundy Family Dinner.
My mom had me at a pretty young age, so she was kind of growing as I was growing.
I think that my mom could honestly have some more fun. My aunts could probably have some more fun, really. And I don't even know if that's even a thing for them, because it's like, oh, I'll work while having fun, or oh, my work is fun. Yeah, that's cool, but I like to have authentic fun too.
What? You need structure.
Literally stressing out.
So, who wants to be on marketing?
This is about making money.
All right, let's put the business aside, and I'm your niece. Can I get extra pieces of chicken?
I was working at the store.
What does that?
You gotta wait until the end.
This is the end.
5 minutes before. Then
I come back.
5 minutes.
So I'm not gonna buy it.
Thank you so much for joining us at the Lundy Family Dinner.